Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio, and today's block is called Blackford's Beauty Block, and this is a nice big 16-inch block. It is made with 4 patches and easy corner triangles. So there are a lot of pieces to it, and it's a bigger block, but it really isn't difficult to do. So I hope you'll stay with me and I'll show you how to make the Blackford's Beauty Block. Okay, here are the fabrics we need for the Blackford's Beauty Block. For A, we need one 4.5-inch square. B is 8 2.5-inch squares. C is 8 2.5-inch squares. D is 8 2.5 by 4.5-inch rectangles. E is 8 2.5-inch squares. F is 8 2.5 by 6.5-inch rectangles, and G is 16 2.5-inch squares. Now this is a 16-inch block, so pieces are bigger, and we're going to have a nice block when we're done. Okay, we are going to start by making 4-patch units, and we're going to use the B and the G squares. So we're going to pair them up and make sets here. So we're going to make 2 patches to begin with. So we'll sew those, and I'm just going to chain piece them all together. Now we have more G squares than we do B squares, and that's because we do need those other squares in another place. So we're going to make 8 sets. And those 8 sets will make 4 patch units. Okay, now I'm going to press all of these towards the darker square. Now I'm going to sew these together with opposite colors meeting, and we'll make the 4-patch units. I'm going to make 4 of these. Okay, so I have 4 patch units. So next thing I need to do is I need to take the D rectangles, and then I need to sew those on one side of the squares, and I need to make sure that I'm going to orient all of my 4 patches the same way. So they're going to be with the blue in the top left corner, and then one of these D rectangles is going to go on this side. So I'm going to sew those on first, and then we'll go to the next step. I'm going to press this D rectangle out, Okay, so now I have 4 of these. So I'm going to set these aside for a few minutes. And okay, now I'm going to take the rest of the D rectangles and I'm going to sew a G square to them. Okay, so what we have 4 of these. Now we need to sew these onto the 4 patch unit, and we're going to put the D rectangle next to the 4 patch, and then the G square goes next to the other D square, so our D rectangle. So I'm going to match this seam. I'm going to go ahead and do a little pinning on this one. Pin at the seam and then pin at the end. And do that for all 4. Okay, so here we go. Let's sew all of these together. Okay, so this is the unit we have now. So now we need to make the side units, and we're going to use the F rectangles, which these are the 2.5 by 6.5 inch rectangles, and we're going to use the E and the C squares. Now we're going to make 2 different sets of these, so I am going to separate these out. So we're going to make 4 of one and 4 of the other. So I have 4 of the F rectangles here, and then I'm going to take 4 of the E squares, and then 4 of the C squares. Okay, I'm going to start with the E squares first. Now for these, you can draw a diagonal line on the wrong side, going from 1/4 to the next, and we're going to place that diagonal line so that it runs from the top left corner to the center of the right hand side. Or I'm going to follow my glow line tape here, so you can do it that way too. And if you draw a line, you're going to sew directly on that line. And I'm going to do that for all 4 rectangles here. Okay, now I'm going to turn these around, and we're going to do the C square. So in the same direction, so from the top left corner to the bottom right corner of that square, which is the C square. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and trim this now. We need to trim off the corners, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And turn this one around, do the same thing. And I'm going to press these open. So we have this, okay? So we need to make 4 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the C-squares to the other 3 and trim and press, and then I'll show you how to do the other set. Okay, and I'm going to take the last 4 F rectangles, the last 4 E squares, and the last 4 C squares, and we're going to do things just the opposite. So instead of sewing from the top left corner, we're going to start sewing from the top right corner and going down towards the left. Okay, so now we have 2 different sets. You can see they mirror image each other, and now what we need to do is to sew these together, right sides together, and make our side units. And if you want to, go ahead and press the seams on one of your pieces in the opposite direction. Right now I have everything pressed out like this, but to get these to nest, I need to press one this way. So I think I'm going to go ahead and repress this one set, and then we'll be ready to sew these all together. I'm going to sew these side units together, and I'm going to nest the seams. On both sides, there's 2 seams, so I'll nest those together. Okay, so here we go. We've got the corner units done. We have 4 of those. Okay, all we need to do now is to put the pieces together. So I'm going to adjust the camera and we'll lay out the block and then sew it together. Okay, so I have all my pieces here, and we've got the A square, which is going to go in the center. We have our side units and we have our 4-patch units. So we'll start in the center, and remember this does make a large block, so I'm not sure I can get it all on this table. But here are the corner units, which are the 4 patches, and then we have the side units, which will go on each side like this, and we're going to put the blue to the inside. Okay, so we're making a star here in the center. And then these 4-patch units. The 4-patch is going to the outside. Okay. So here's row 1. There's row 1. Here's row 2. And then row 3 is the same as row 1, it's just flipped. So I'm going to go ahead and sew these together. I'm going to sew piece 1 and 2 together, and then I'll add piece 3, and then I'll sew all the rows together. Okay, here is the completed block, and I think that turned out really well. It's really not difficult to do. We just have 4 patches and easy corner triangles, and it all goes together pretty easily. You just have to remember these units need to be mirror imaged, but other than that, I think it all went together really well. So I hope you'll give this block a try. Okay, that is it for the Blackford's Beauty block. I think this one turned out really well. It's pretty striking. Of course, I made it in red, white, and blue, but you can use any colors you want to. It's just the easy corner triangles and 4 patches, and that's all there is to it. It's just a large block, and there's more pieces to it. So anyway, I hope you'll give this block a try. Now, if you like this video, please click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and click that notification bell so you'll be notified when the next video comes up. And in the meantime, I hope you're all staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links, and to keep up with my latest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.